Mary Schenck, the Reeds, and all of you who are here today. Despite the rain, it feels like we're family here. We have a gathering, whether it's sunny out or it rains, families together, and we have a good time. And we're honoring three outstanding members of our community. And I also thank all of you, because I know for decades you've been living here and participating in the Historical Society of West Windsor, and either painting the house, and doing things here to the barn, you're collecting items from the past that people have donated. So I just want to give you a big thank you for doing all of that over the years. So this is a proclamation honoring Mary Schenck's dedication to the Historical Society of West Windsor. Whereas Mary Schenck was appointed to serve on the West Windsor Historical Advisory Committee, whose purpose was to evaluate the historical resources of the township and make residents aware of them by Mayor Douglas Forrester. And whereas the Historical Society of West Windsor was formed out of this committee on March 10, 1982, and whereas Mary Schenck was one of the founding members and has served in many key positions, and whereas a restoration committee was formed by the Historical Society of West Windsor in the early 1900s with co-chairs Mary and Warren Schenck and Kay and Clifford Reed to spearhead the restoration of the old Schenck farmhouse donated to the township by Max Zates, a local cattle farmer, as a home for the Historical Society of West Windsor. And whereas Mary was instrumental in writing a history of farms, one-room schoolhouses, and other historical structures throughout West Windsor. And whereas the house located at 50 Southfield Road was owned by the Schenck family from 1899 through 1971, and Warren was born on the farmstead, and Mary and Warren lived in the house with their family. And whereas Mary was a familiar face at the open houses of the Schenck farmhouse, explaining the rich history of the house and surrounding area. And now, therefore, be it resolved by Mayor Marate and members of the Township Council, the Township of West Windsor, that they want to extend their utmost appreciation and gratitude to Mary Schenck for all the time and hard work she dedicated to the Historical Society of West Windsor over the years to help preserve the history of the Township of West Windsor. Thank you.
Accepting.
Recruited countless volunteers to help with tours of the facilities, and whereas throughout the years they worked with township officials to make repairs and restoration to these structures, and whereas Clifford cleaned, repaired, and improved a variety of museum artifacts, as well as made repairs to structures throughout the farmstead, and now therefore be it resolved by Mayor and the members of the Township Council of the Township of West Windsor that they want to extend their utmost appreciation and gratitude to Clay and Clifford Reed for all the time and hard work they dedicated to the Historical Society of West Windsor over the years to help preserve the history of the Township of West Windsor. And was signed by the mayor and the entire council. If one would please come up here and get the proclamation.
You got the picture.
When I first came to West Windsor in 1994, the first piece of literature I got from the township had Kay's name on it. I don't remember what the literature was, but that name stuck with. So you were my first connection to West Windsor.
That was when I was a tax collector.
That's the part I wanted to forget about. I didn't want to say that, but and probably that's why I remember you. The first taxes I paid to you, and now I collect from everybody.
Oh, this is really nice.
Yeah, they really. Oh, I didn't even get to show you. So,
But
yeah,
it's really great to see that our town is celebrating our 225th year, and the Historical Society, Paul has done a great job of preserving the history, educating a lot of people, and every time I go out I learn something new from Paul. So really thank you for everybody who participated over all these years to preserve the history, and all those who will participate and continue to do that in future. So I have the same copies of the proclamation for the Historical Society for their records. So Trevor will make the
Right. I guess we can hang them on the wall.
Yep, and take some pictures and put them on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Step up as the most knowledgeable presenters for Mary and Mildred. If you have a question about West Windsor history, ask the Reeds. What they don't know, they can find out from a variety of sources they have worked with over the years. In their early volunteer career before the house, Kay and Clifford devoted 20 plus years to the 4-H club. And they led a group called the Edinburgh Merrymakers. We talked and I forgot at that time. At that time, and continuing to the present time, both Kay and Clifford has worked and served as officers with the Grange on both the local level and the New Jersey state level. They continued their Grange positions to today. The Reeds were founders and continue as sustainers of the West Windsor Historical Society. They've worked tirelessly as members and officers. Their range of volunteer activities include research, artifact acquisition, aka shopping, and restoration, mason work, carpenter, docent, mechanic, government liaison, cook, and chief bottle washer. The Reeds have done everything. Kay and Clifford were present at the birth of the society, and almost 40 years later worked to ensure its continued existence by inviting in new members and officers, utilizing technology, and embracing the ever-changing citizenry of West Windsor. When Kay invited me in to be the docent of the schoolhouse, which is my main thing, it was such an honor to be invited by her to be in that special place. It's such a positive reflection that all of you came here on this day to thank them for everything that they've done. So this is your plaque. If you want to come up. Oh yeah. We do stuff right.
Family farm in Dutchneck in January 17, 1926. She graduated from Princeton High in 1944. Early in her life, she spent many hours working on the family farm, harvesting potatoes, wheat, soybeans. Mildred worked for the West Windsor Board of Education for 50 years. Dutchneck School and other cafeterias. She retired in 2016. Mildred was very active in the Dutchneck Presbyterian Church, teaching Sunday school for 70 years since she was 16 years old. From the time that Mom and Dad started working on the Schenck house, Mildred was always ready to come and help clean, set up, and be a docent. While the house was open, you always find Mildred dressed in her outfit in the history room, telling people of our history. She is proud of the fact that she lived here all her life. She passed in 21.
Thank you.
A list of farms that were taken as part of the Mercer County acquisition. We spent many hours on this project on my dining room table. While doing this, we decided to create the Historical Society of West Windsor. And on my birthday, June 16, 1983, that's when we were started. We wanted to keep the records of West Windsor to put together what we had gathered in all these projects. It was during that time of 1991 that Max Seitz, the large farm owner and landowner in West Windsor, came to my office one day and said, I have a farmhouse out there on Southfield Road. Would you want it for the Historical Society? Are you interested? Were we interested? I jumped at the idea and he gave us that house to the Historical Society. So Clifford and I, Mary and Warren, became the team to restore that farmhouse. It was a labor of love. Warren worked on the outside of the house by repairing old shutters and fixing things to replace the ones on the house that were there.
Clifford worked inside, rebuilding fireplaces, repairing plastered walls. Mary and I did what we could, and we painted walls. Warren, Schenck, and Malcolm Rosel worked with the township on the directions from the township. In 1997, when the town was 200 years old, we held a celebration outside our unfinished farmhouse. We are both humbled by this recognition. I got the wrong page.
Yep.
It's right there.
Dad, please.
Underneath. Mary and I did lots of shopping, looking for certain items not given to us by donations, but when we were looking for the schoolhouse clock, I can remember finding one in Vermont. Called Mary on the phone, sent her a picture, checked with the other executive committee, and before buying anything, we are so proud of all the various rooms that we have in our furnishings. Mary and I shopped for curtains, carpeting, various things that have made the house look like it does. We've been very fortunate to receive so many donations of furniture that are appropriate to our farmhouse. There was a little house out on Clifford Reed Road that belonged to somebody, and she gave us the contents. When she died, she gave us the contents of her house. Weren't we lucky? Over the years, we've tried to furnish the house so it would look like the 1790 to 1800 house. Mary has been with us to be the docent dressed in her authentic 1800 dress for guests as they enter the house. She would explain the history of the kitchen and other rooms, but hand out house flyers so they could continue to visit the rest of the house and go up the stairs. It's been a wonderful 30 years working with Mary and all the historical persons who gave their all to make this place that we are so proud of today.
That's the front parlor as the Kay and Clifford Reed parlor. Kay is a Historical Society co-founder, and she and Clifford have been longtime leaders. For a combined 80 years, they have preserved and promoted our township's rich history. This will be installed in the house in the parlor after you take it home and Uina. But thank you for absolutely everything, and always so gracious too. A lot to be said for that, so thank you.
I have to tell you that last night when I left Clifford at the hospital, he says, "Can you read me what you're going to say tomorrow? Because I want to hear what you were going to say." The night before he went to bed and then had this little trip to go to the hospital, we had went over the ones for Mildred because he was putting in his part to it, and of course I did with Mary Schenck. Anyway, we are both humbled by all the recognition. We have enjoyed and loved every minute of our time at this farmstead. I have to tell you that all this time has come because Clifford, back in the late 1970s, restored the John Abbott House. That's on Coosa Road in Hamilton Township, and it was a Green Acres project. Clifford was employed by Hamilton Township to do all the brick and masonry work at that house. He would return home from there and say, "Oh, I hope someday West Windsor will have a house that we can save." As all the developers at that time in this town were buying up the farms and tearing down everything that was on the property. Coincidentally, the John Abbott House happens to belong to our Tyndall family farm, where my brother George and I grew up. It was a wonderful 40 years being part of the Historical Society of West Windsor, watching the farmhouse, the carriage house, the museum barn, and the school become a reality. Hopefully, Clifford and I will be able to continue this years to come. Thank you.